welcome to my channel, or welcome back. I'm Yosha and I'm your go-to girl for all things real. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing about my first ever JetBlue Airlines experience. I love to travel and I love to do so in a frugal way. I cover real talk, lifestyle, and reviews. On this channel, you can find all kinds of videos. Recently, I did go on the Carnival Conquest and I flew JetBlue. If you are interested in Carnival Conquest information, I will link down the videos about that experience below. One is a vlog from our full weekend experience, and the other is a review of what you can expect. Now, I am located in the Atlanta area, and for some reason, inflation has got these flights to the Miami area airports really expensive. And so, you know, I went on Delta and it was very expensive, $500 round trip per person. And then I went on Southwest and it was about $400 round trip per person. And then I went on Frontier and Spirit because I was getting desperate. And, you know, it honestly was about the same price as going Southwest or Delta because, you know, they don't include bags. And I didn't want to be in a duffel bag on my cruise. You never know what can happen, right? And so I stumbled across a friend of mine. Her name is Kira from Tingz with Kira. She also has a fashion channel, Simply Miss Kira. And she did a review about JetBlue Airlines. And this is somebody that I really respect. I said, you know what? Let me look and see what they got. Because I had never heard of JetBlue. JetBlue does not really have a lot of nonstop flights out of Georgia, just so you know. But their flights are pretty affordable. And so do you know, they actually had the best price for a round trip ticket from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, Florida, without any stops. And so, you know, we did have to get up at the crack of dawn to be on that flight going. And coming back, we had a flight that left around 3 o'clock. Well, it was supposed to leave at 3. I'll get to that at a later part in the video. I think the total cost was $395.60. I was trying to budget for a $1,000 trip because the Carnival cruise trip itself was really, really cheap because it was a short cruise, y'all, 2 days. JetBlue was pretty awesome. My first trip, you know, going from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, I would rate that a 10 out of 10 experience. The trip coming back, I would give it about an 8 out of 10. And that's only because our flight was delayed by an hour. Not only did I pay a very affordable price, but I got free Wi-Fi and free entertainment. I was able to watch the Barbie movie on the plane, and this was back in January, so the movie was still relatively new and I hadn't seen it yet. So I actually watched the Barbie movie on my way to Fort Lauderdale, and it was really good. And then as far as snacks, they came around and they had Starry, which is like the non-Coca-Cola version of Sprite, ginger ale, they had plantain chips and stuff. It was super cold on the plane and comfortable. I had overhead space with my ticket. Let's talk about tickets. So Blue Basic is your equivalent of an economy seat on Delta. Now, the only difference is that with Blue Basic, you cannot bring a carry-on with you. You do have the option to pay for a checked bag, but you cannot bring a carry-on on the plane. Now, a couple of ladies that were in front of us tried it, and they did not have it on their ticket, and they checked that carry-on bag and charged them for it. So if you're gonna do Blue Basic, that is perfect for somebody who is okay with checking bags, or someone who is going for the weekend and you have that perfect weekender bag. Now, they do have the little machine where they check to see the size of the bag, but let me tell you, JetBlue was not giving Spirit and Frontier customer service at all. They were not sitting here checking people who did not pay for a carry-on bag to see if the bag fit. They wasn't doing all that extra stuff to make you feel like, you know, I'm gonna find a way to charge you. They didn't give that vibe at all, and I really, really liked that a lot because with some of the other budget airlines, that's exactly what they do. And it's kind of frustrating because your bragging about being this great budget airline. This is where you can be frugal and travel, but then you want to beat your customers over the head at the airport with extra add-ons and fees and stuff after you've gotten their money for the cheap ticket. But they do stick by their policy. So if you are the type of person who hates checking bags and you need something bigger than a backpack, then I would recommend you do the blue option, which is what I did. It is about $20 to $30 more than the blue basic option, and you get the carry-on and the personal included. Now, if I'm not mistaken, with blue basic, you can select your seat there as well. So I was able to choose an aisle seat, and my husband was able to choose an aisle seat. We were able to sit right next to each other. We picked seats in like the middle part of the plane, so not too far back, not first thing in the front, but right around the middle of the plane. And it was so refreshing to have a spot for my bag when I sat down. Like, it's been times where I've flown on Delta and I've not been in the back of the plane, and like, they've already given up my spot for my stuff and they make me check my bag. And I feel like JetBlue did a better job of handling that. And then if you want to go all out, honey, they have Blue Extra. And it came with priority boarding, which is not something I care about. They had all this stuff that was supposed to be meant to make you comfortable. They had pillows, they had blankets, they had headphones for purchase. They don't provide the headphones, but they do provide the entertainment. So bring your own headphones. Don't come without your headphones, because you want to pay $6 for their headphones and it's not worth it. I actually always save my headphones from Delta Airlines and I put them in my travel stuff. So I was able to use a pair of those headphones and that worked perfectly. Wi-Fi worked pretty well. I was able to browse social media, but I was really watching that Barbie movie, so I wasn't using it. But you know, overall, it was a great experience and I would definitely consider flying with them again if they were flying nonstop. Now, I will give you a con. If you're in Georgia like I am, there are not a lot of flights that are nonstop on JetBlue. But here are a few that I noticed that were. New York is one of them. If you want to go to New York, you can fly JetBlue without a layover somewhere else. Fort Lauderdale is another one. They do not go to Miami. So if you are flying for a cruise and you want to do JetBlue from Atlanta, try to get you a cruise that's in Fort Lauderdale. I could tell a whole story about how stressful that was leaving that Sunday and trying to get from the Miami cruise port to the Fort Lauderdale airport with 100 other people that was out there trying to do the same thing. You need to plan accordingly for your transportation. Now, coming from Atlanta to Fort Lauderdale, what I've noticed is that most of the flights are first thing in the morning, like 7 a.m. They may have a second flight, but some of the flights are not going to be nonstop. One con that I would tell y'all is that they have less flights available. It's not like Southwest, it's not like Delta, it's not like American, where you're gonna get at least 4 to 7 flights a day nonstop going. Delta spoils us with that, because you can decide to go at 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 9 a.m., 10 a.m. You have 4 or 5 different options if you oversleep. Look, with JetBlue, you better get your butt on that plane or you're gonna be on another like flight that might have a 10-hour layover in Timbuktu. As far as flights coming back, some of the flights coming home get you home, you know, leaving out of Florida at 8, 9 o'clock at night. And so that might be a deal breaker for some, but just know, like, you can split it up. You can do one-way JetBlue, one-way Southwest, one-way JetBlue, one-way Delta, anything to save your money. If you're a person that doesn't mind a layover, I did notice that a lot of the flights that go to the Caribbean, that go to other, you know, cities in the South, but that are near Atlanta at least, seem to lay over in Florida. So if that's the kind of thing you're into and you have extra time, you could make a fun thing out of it. Like if you're gonna lay over in Florida, you could possibly go and get some brunch or something and then come back. One thing that I didn't care for was when we were delayed. You know, we went through a lot getting to the airport. Long story short, I ended up catching an Uber with another guy that was coming back to our airport, and we split the Uber with him. But it took over an hour to get the Uber to come down because it was a race going on that day. We were rushing to get to the airport early, just to find out once we were already there that the flight was delayed. And they kept pushing the time down by a few minutes, and it ended up being an hour. Now, the other part that I didn't care for was once we were at the gate and waiting to be called, we realized that they changed our tickets. And so I had actually paid for seats, aisle seats, in the same section that we paid going there, and they had upgraded us to the front of the plane. I think we were in seat 3, and they put my husband and I together on the same row, and they thought they were upgrading us because they were putting us to the front. It was supposed to be the extra space seat, but it was really an inconvenience because my husband prefers aisle seats and I really don't like sitting in the middle. So I sat in the middle so my husband could be comfortable, but I was annoyed because, you know, we wanted what we wanted. And honestly, I would have much preferred for them to offer like a discount on my ticket or some sort of flight credit, rather than them upgrading my seat without asking me first and putting me closer to the front of the plane. They were trying to do the right thing by me, and I give them an A for effort. I give them an A for customer service. They were very friendly. They were very helpful. When we got on the plane, they even helped us find a place to put our bags. But by then, we were a little irritated. That was the most initiative I've ever seen an airport, or airline rather, take on their own to solve my problem. If you were to ask me, Yosha, do you recommend flying JetBlue? My answer to you would be yes. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. I hope it was helpful to you. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Be sure to subscribe, like, share with your friends, and safe travels on your next one out. Bye, y'all.